At 4 a.m., the Emperor of Rome would rise not to conquer lands, but to conquer himself. The city still slept. The streets of Rome were silent, yet one man was already awake, Marcus Aurelius. Before he commanded legions, he commanded his own mind. While others dreamed of glory, he prepared to face his fears, his ego, and the chaos within. He once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That single truth shaped an empire, and it can reshape you. Because in a world that worships comfort, the true warriors are those who can master discomfort, the ones who rise when others sleep, the ones who act when others hesitate. What if you could rewire your mind like Marcus in just 7 days? 10 brutal Stoic morning habits that train your discipline, sharpen your thoughts, and make your spirit unbreakable. This isn't motivation, it's transformation. Let's begin the journey to conquer your mind before the sun rises. Habit 1. Wake before the sun. Face the inner enemy. The world before dawn is silent, a still battlefield. The air is cold, the streets empty, and in that quiet moment, your greatest opponent appears not outside but within. The struggle between the part of you that craves comfort and the part that craves greatness. Every morning before the first light, the war begins again. Marcus Aurelius didn't just wake up early, he awakened himself. He understood that the first victory of the day is never over time, but over temptation. He once wrote in Meditations at dawn, "When you rise unwillingly, remember that you are rising to do the work of a human being." Every morning, the emperor reminded himself that the enemy was not out there. It was the comfort within. Science now echoes the same truth. Studies from the University of Toronto found that early risers report 25% higher levels of life satisfaction and 20% better mental focus throughout the day. But to the Stoics, waking early was never about optimization. It was about ownership of the mind, of the will of the day itself. Imagine the alarm rings. It's cold. Your body begs for 5 more minutes. That voice, that whisper, is your first enemy. Marcus faced it centuries ago. You face it now. The Stoic doesn't argue with that voice. He acts in spite of it. Because discipline is freedom and comfort is a cage made of silk. Seneca wrote, "He who is brave is free." When you rise before the world, you declare silently, "I choose effort over ease." The world outside is still sleeping, and that's the moment you gain an invisible advantage. Athletes call it the gap hour, that quiet window where your mind is clear, your purpose undistracted. So here's your practice. Tomorrow, set your alarm 30 minutes earlier than usual. When it rings, don't think, move. Stand up. Breathe. Feel the resistance and smile at it. Say aloud Marcus words, "I rise to do the work of a human being." Then take 2 minutes to look at the horizon, no phone, no noise, and remind yourself that you've already won your first war of the day. Because waking early isn't about the clock, it's about character. You're not just getting up earlier. You're becoming stronger, sharper, calmer. The dawn is your training ground. The Stoics believed each sunrise was a rebirth, a reminder that time is slipping through our fingers. And those who waste the morning waste their life. So rise before the sun. Face the inner enemy. And when you do, you'll discover that the greatest victory doesn't come from conquering the world, it comes from conquering yourself. Now that you've faced the first battle of the day, it's time to step into the cold, literally. In the next habit, you'll learn why the Stoics sought discomfort and how cold can forge the mind into steel. Habit 2, cold exposure, training discomfort. They say the moment cold water touches your skin, the mind screams for escape. It's pure instinct, a reflex older than civilization itself. But the Stoics knew something deeper, that true strength is born not in comfort, but in controlled discomfort. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Ask yourself at every moment, is this necessary?" Comfort isn't. Growth is. When the cold hits you, your breath shortens, your muscles tighten, your thoughts wan out. But if you stay, if you breathe through the shock, something extraordinary happens. The body obeys the mind, and the mind learns it cannot be broken. Modern science agrees. Researchers at the University of Cambridge found that just 30 seconds of cold exposure can increase dopamine levels by over 250%, not fleeting pleasure, but sustained motivation lasting for hours. That's the chemical signature of resilience. That's what Marcus trained for, even without knowing the word dopamine. He faced winters on the Danube frontier, leading soldiers through frost and famine. He didn't retreat from the cold, he became one with it. Because every Stoic understood you cannot control the storm, but you can become the calm inside it. Seneca warned we must be tested. Only through adversity can the soul be proven. The cold is your test, not to punish, but to prepare. Each second you endure becomes a rehearsal for life, for every rejection, every loss, every uncertainty the world throws at you. Imagine this: tomorrow morning you step into the shower, the water is icy, your breath catches, your mind says, get out, but you smile because this is your battlefield. This is where warriors are forged. Take control of your breath. 3 deep inhales, slow exhales. You're not fighting the cold, you're training in it. Start small, 15 seconds cold at the end of your shower, then 30, then 60. Let the water be your teacher. Let the cold remind you that pain is not the enemy, weakness is. Epictetus said, difficulties show what men are. When you face the cold, you meet yourself raw, real, unmasked. You realize that comfort has never built courage. Only resistance does. So tomorrow, don't run from the cold. Welcome it. Let it sting. Let it strengthen. Because every second you endure discomfort, you rewire your mind from fragile to fearless. And once you've mastered the cold, it's time to master silence. In the next habit, we'll explore how morning reflection, the Stoic art of writing, can turn chaos into clarity and noise into wisdom. Habit 3, Silent Reflection Morning. Pages of a Stoic. In a quiet Roman tent before dawn, Marcus Aurelius sat alone, pen in hand, eyes heavy with thought. He wasn't writing for the world. He was writing for himself. Each line was a conversation with his soul, a reminder of who he wanted to be before the noise of the day began. When you arise in the morning, he wrote, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. This was not journaling for comfort. It was reflection for clarity. To the Stoic, silence was sacred, a forge where thoughts became strength. Modern psychology now validates what Marcus practiced 2,000 years ago. A study from the University of Texas found that people who write about their thoughts for just 15 minutes each morning show a 40% decrease in stress and improved problem solving throughout the day. Why? Because writing externalizes chaos. When thoughts are trapped inside, they own you. When written down, you own them. Imagine beginning your day with 5 minutes of silence, no notifications, no voices, just you and your mind. Ask yourself 3 questions. What do I fear today? What can I control today? What would the wise do? These are not just questions, they're weapons against anxiety. Seneca once said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. By writing, you expose imagination's illusions and replace them with reason. Marcus did this every morning before ruling an empire. You can do it before facing your inbox. It's the same principle: lead yourself before you lead others. In this silence, you'll discover something unexpected. Your mind doesn't crave noise, it craves direction. Writing gives it that. It's a Stoic mirror reflecting your virtues and your vices, not to judge, but to understand. Your practice for tomorrow: wake up. Sit in silence for 3 minutes. Take a notebook, not your phone. Write your fears, your intentions, your gratitude. No filter, no grammar, just truth. Let the ink carry your worries out of your mind and onto paper. Then close the notebook and leave those fears there. Because once you put your thoughts on paper, they no longer control you. You do. In that quiet moment, you'll feel what Marcus felt: peace, not from escaping life, but from understanding it. That is the purpose of reflection, not to retreat, but to return stronger. So before you speak to the world, speak to yourself. Write your truth, master your morning, and remember, clarity begins in silence. And when you've mastered silence, it's time to defend it. In the next habit, you'll learn to guard your mind from the noise, the Stoic art of no input for the first hour. Habit 4, no input first hour. Guard the gates of the mind. Before the world invades your mind, before messages, headlines, and chaos, there is a sacred hour, an hour that decides whether you lead your day or your day leads you. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, the things you think about determine the quality of your mind. Your soul takes on the color of your thoughts. That single sentence is a warning and a weapon. Every morning when you open your phone, you're not just scrolling. You're surrendering your consciousness. The first image you see, the first sound you hear, they become architects of your mood. Modern neuroscience proves it. Researchers at Stanford found that the brain's prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for decision-making, is most vulnerable to distraction in the first hour after waking. Whatever you feed it, then programs your mental state for the next 12 hours. So if you fill it with chaos, don't be surprised when you carry chaos all day. The Stoics didn't have smartphones, but they fought the same battle, the battle of attention. Epictetus warned, if a man can't control his own mind, he is not free. Freedom begins with focus, and focus begins with guarding the gates of your mind. Imagine your thoughts as a fortress. At dawn, the gates open. Who do you allow to enter, first wisdom or noise? If you let gossip, notifications, and comparison rush in, you've already lost the morning. So here's your practice, simple yet rare. For the first 60 minutes after waking, consume nothing. No phone, no emails, no news. Just silence, breath, and intentional living. Instead, fill the hour with creation, not consumption. Move your body, reflect, plan, read one Stoic passage, drink water with awareness. Let your mind wake itself not through screens, but through stillness. You'll notice something profound. After 7 days, your anxiety decreases, your focus strengthens, and your inner voice, the one drowned out by noise, returns. Seneca said, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." By not flooding your mind first thing, you allow it to remain somewhere in the present moment. This habit is not about rejecting the world. It's about meeting it on your own terms. When you finally check your phone after an hour of peace, you'll do it from strength, not addiction. Remember, every fortress falls not from outside attack, but from the gate left open. Guard yours. Make your mind your kingdom, not your prison. And once your fortress is defended, it's time to build your creed, the inner code that keeps you unshaken. In the next habit, we'll forge that code together. Stoic Affirmations, the Warrior's Creed. Habit 5, Stoic Affirmations, the Warrior's Creed. Every warrior has a creed, a few words that guide him when fear whispers, when doubt clouds his mind. For Marcus Aurelius, that creed was written not on marble, but within his heart. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Those words were not poetry, they were armor. When the empire trembled, when friends betrayed him, when illness and war surrounded him, Marcus repeated them quietly until they became truth. Affirmations today are often mocked empty words shouted in the mirror. But the Stoics didn't use affirmations to escape reality. They used them to face it. Neuroscientists at Carnegie Mellon University discovered that repeating positive self-aligned statements activates the brain's ventromedial prefrontal cortex, the center of self-identity and motivation. In other words, your brain listens to your words, and over time it believes them. The Stoics already knew this. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." That is not a quote, it's a code. The code of a mind that cannot be broken. So here's how you forge your warrior's creed each morning. 1. Stand tall, feet, grounded shoulders, back, eyes open. 2. Breathe deep through your nose, 4 seconds and 4 out. 3. Speak slowly with conviction. Say, I control my mind, not the world. Obstacles strengthen me. Discomfort is my teacher. No emotion rules me, I rule myself. You're not convincing yourself of lies. You're reminding yourself of truths you've forgotten. The words are sparks. The repetition is fire. Each time you declare your creed, you reshape the neural circuits of resilience. That's not philosophy, that's neuroscience. Your words become mental weights, training your focus and emotional endurance. Marcus didn't rise to power because he was born strong. He became strong because he trained his mind daily. When he wrote in Meditations, he was not speaking to history, he was speaking to himself. You must do the same. Every day life will test you. Traffic, rejection, failure, loss. But your creed will stand between the world and your weakness. Whisper it when you wake. Repeat it before you sleep. Let it carve itself into your mind until it becomes instinct. Seneca said, "The mind that is unshaken by fortune is the greatest of all victories." That victory begins with words. So write your creed, speak it, live it, and when you feel your will falter, repeat it again. Because repetition builds belief, and belief builds warriors. You've now forged the Stoic mind calm and commanding. Next, it's time to forge the body. In the next habit, you'll learn how movement itself can become meditation. Habit 6. Physical training, move like a soldier. The body is the mind's first battlefield. Marcus Aurelius knew that strength of spirit could not exist in a body ruled by weakness. He trained not for vanity, but for virtue. On the cold mornings of the Danube frontier, the emperor of Rome would rise, don his armor, and lead his men not from behind a throne, but from the front lines. He wrote, "A man's worth is measured by what he does not, by what he claims." To the Stoics, movement was meditation. Every push, every step, every controlled breath was an act of discipline, a reminder that pain is temporary, but mastery is eternal. Today, science confirms what Marcus lived. Research from the University of Oxford shows that just 20 minutes of physical exercise can increase serotonin and dopamine levels by up to 40%, improving not only mood, but clarity, focus, and resilience. The Stoics didn't call it fitness. They called it alignment, the harmony between body and reason. Epictetus, once a slave with a broken leg, still trained daily. He said, "You must endure what is necessary and train your body to obey your mind." That is the essence of Stoic physical training, not chasing pleasure, but commanding endurance. When you move, your thoughts become sharper. When you sweat, your emotions quiet down. When your muscles tremble, your will strengthens. Here's your Stoic practice tomorrow morning. Move for at least 20 minutes. No fancy equipment. Run, stretch, do push-ups, or lift your own body weight. But move with intention. Each repetition is a reminder I am in command. As you breathe, imagine your weakness burning away. Each drop of sweat is proof that you are alive, that your spirit and body still answer to you, not to comfort. Seneca said, "We treat the body rigorously so it may not be disobedient to the mind." You're not training for appearance. You're training for resilience, to remain calm when tired, strong when pressured, and present in chaos. Marcus believed that philosophy was not meant to be read, it was meant to be lived. When you train, you're not just exercising, you're embodying Stoicism. You're living proof that philosophy breathes in motion. So move like a soldier, not to conquer others, but to conquer yourself. Each breath, each movement, each drop of effort carves your mind into steel. And when the training is done, don't rush to the noise. Take a moment to feed your mind just as you've strengthened your body, because the next habit is about nourishment, not of muscle, but of wisdom. Habit 7, cold reading. Nourish with wisdom after training the body. Marcus Aurelius would sit down, still breathing, heavy heart, steady, and open his journal. No music, no noise, just ink and wisdom. He knew that a strong body without a strong mind is like a sword without a wielder. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts, he wrote. Each morning he repainted his soul with wisdom. The Stoics treated reading like a warrior treats sharpening his blade, not entertainment, but preparation. They didn't read to escape life. They read to face it. Modern research agrees. A 2013 study from the University of Sussex found that reading for just 6 minutes can reduce stress levels by 68%, lowering heart rate and easing muscle tension faster than listening to music or taking a walk. Books, it seems, are not just food for the mind, they are medicine for the soul. But not all reading is equal. The Stoics practice cold reading, slow, deliberate reflection, one paragraph at a time. No scrolling, no speed, just focus. The goal wasn't to finish the page, but to let the page finish you. Marcus read Epictetus' discourses again and again. He once wrote, "Don't be satisfied with mere learning. Put it into action." That's the Stoic difference. Knowledge without embodiment is nothing. So here's your morning ritual. After training your body, take 5 minutes to read something timeless, not trending, a passage from Meditations, letters from a Stoic, or any book that strengthens reason and virtue. Read one idea, then stop. Close your eyes. Ask yourself, how can I live this today? What does this truth demand from me? Because wisdom is not what you remember, it's what you apply. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." So don't waste your mind on empty words. Read with intention. Think with stillness. Let every line carve clarity into your consciousness. You don't need to read 10 pages. You just need one truth, fully absorbed, fully lived. That's how the Stoics nourish their minds, by quality, not quantity. So tomorrow morning, before you face the world, feed your mind before your phone. Knowledge before dopamine. Wisdom before noise. Because when your mind is well fed, your emotions go hungry. And that's when you begin to rule yourself. Once you've nourished your mind, you're ready to strengthen its armor. In the next habit, we'll explore the ancient Stoic art of negative visualization, how imagining loss can create unshakable gratitude and peace. Habit 8, negative visualization armor for the mind. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine losing what you love most, your home, your health, someone you care for deeply. Feel the weight in your chest, that pain, that fear. This is the training ground of the Stoic mind. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Think of yourself as dead. You have lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly." He didn't mean despair, he meant awakening. To lose something in your mind is to learn its true value. The Stoics called it premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evil. They practiced imagining loss not to suffer twice, but to suffer less when it came. Seneca wrote, "He robs present ills of their power, who has perceived their coming beforehand." In other words, by rehearsing the storm, you learn to stand in it. Modern psychology confirms this. Studies from the University of California show that individuals who mentally rehearse negative events report greater emotional stability and faster recovery when facing real adversity. Why? Because the mind has already walked the terrain of pain, it no longer fears it. Marcus faced death daily of friends of soldiers of his own children. Yet he remained calm, because he understood that everything borrowed by life must one day be returned. So here's your morning practice. Once a day for just 2 minutes, close your eyes and imagine one thing you take for granted gone. The warmth of your bed, the laughter of someone you love, the breath in your lungs. Then open your eyes. What you see next is no longer ordinary, it's sacred. You'll find yourself saying, not I must, but I get to. I get to breathe. I get to work. I get to live. This is not pessimism, it's power. Because when you've already faced the worst in your mind, the world can no longer break you. Epictetus taught, do not wish that things will happen as you want them to, but wish that they happen as they do, and you will find peace. Negative visualization is not about fearing loss, it's about releasing attachment. You stop clinging to outcomes and start appreciating existence. Remember, gratitude without awareness is fragile. To feel true gratitude, you must first imagine its absence. So practice loss not to mourn it, but to awaken. When you open your eyes, you'll see life as it truly is, temporary, beautiful, and enough. And once you've learned to see life this way, you're ready for the next step to express it. In the next habit, you'll learn how to transform this awareness into lasting joy through gratitude. Habit 9, Gratitude Ritual. Remember what's enough after facing loss in the mind. Marcus Aurelius would often end his morning reflections with one simple act: gratitude. Not for wealth, not for victory, but for breath. He wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." Gratitude to the Stoics wasn't an emotion. It was discipline, a conscious choice to see abundance in the ordinary. Today, scientists call it the gratitude effect. A Harvard Medical School study found that people who wrote down just 3 things they were grateful for each morning reported 25% greater happiness and better sleep and health after only 10 days. Marcus didn't need the data, he lived it. He knew that a grateful heart cannot be conquered. Seneca said no one is poor who can see what he already has. The Stoics' power wasn't in possessions, but in perception. They saw wealth where others saw routine. So here's your morning practice. After you wake and before the world intrudes, list 3 things you already have, things emperors once dreamed of. Peace, health, freedom. You don't need more. You just need to see what's already there. Write them down, whisper them, feel them. And if you can connect each with a story, the friend who stayed the sunrise, you witness the body that still carries you. Because gratitude without emotion is memory, but gratitude with emotion becomes presence. Marcus faced plagues, betrayal, and death. Yet he thanked the universe for the chance to act with virtue one more day. He understood that every breath is borrowed and every moment is a gift. In a world obsessed with more, the Stoic finds peace in enough. Because enough isn't a number, it's a realization. The realization that what you have right now is already more than most will ever dream of. So tomorrow morning before your first sip of coffee, pause. Look at your hands, they move. Your lungs fill. Your heart beats. You've already won. Gratitude doesn't just make you happier, it makes you unbreakable. because no storm can take away what you've already appreciated. Now, with your heart anchored in gratitude, you are ready for the final step of the Stoic morning, to return to silence, to stillness, to presence. Habit 10. The moment of stillness, return to the present. Every morning after the rituals, after the movement, after the thoughts, Marcus Aurelius would simply sit. No writing, no reading, no speaking, just breathing. Because even an emperor needs silence. In that stillness, he found not emptiness, but everything. He wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." Stillness is not the absence of movement. It is the mastery of it. It's the art of being fully present in a world constantly pulling you away. Today, neuroscience gives this ancient truth a name: mindfulness. Studies from Harvard University show that just 10 minutes of intentional stillness a day can decrease cortisol levels by 27%, increase gray matter density in the prefrontal cortex, and improve emotional regulation. In simple words, stillness sharpens the mind and softens the heart. The Stoics didn't meditate to escape life. They did it to engage with life more clearly. When you sit in silence, you don't run from chaos, you learn to navigate through it. So here's your final morning practice. Sit in stillness for 5 minutes. No sound, no distraction. Close your eyes and breathe slowly, deeply, deliberately. Inhale discipline, exhale doubt. Observe your thoughts like passing clouds, acknowledge them, then let them drift away. In this silence, something remarkable happens. You realize you are not your thoughts. You are the observer, the steady flame behind them. This is the heart of Stoicism, not suppression, but serenity. The ability to stand unmoved in the storm because you know you are not the storm. Marcus wrote, "To be like the rock that the waves keep crashing over, it stands unmoved and the raging sea falls still around it." That is your goal each morning, to become the rock. To rise from stillness, unshaken, clear, and ready. Because in a noisy world, stillness is rebellion. In a distracted world, presence is power. So tomorrow, when you finish your morning rituals, the cold, the writing, the movement, the gratitude, end it with silence. Let the world spin. Let your breath be your anchor. This is where the Stoic morning ends and where your true life begins. You don't need to seek peace, you return to it, because it was always there within you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts, and your thoughts begin in stillness." When Rome burned, Marcus Aurelius didn't panic. He stood still, calm as stone, because his habits had already forged his mind into steel. You don't need a throne, an army, or a crown. You just need 7 days of discipline to become unbreakable. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." The question is, will you rule your mind or will your mind rule you? The next sunrise is waiting for you. You can wake up and scroll, or you can wake up and rise. Start tomorrow morning or stay the same. Your choice will echo for the rest of your life. If this message resonated, hit subscribe, making life better. Join thousands walking the Stoic path, and let's build unbreakable minds together. Share this video with someone who's ready to rise with you. And now comment one word that defines your next 7 days. One word that will guide your actions. Write it below and make it real. Strength, discipline, freedom, choose yours.